This video is just for fun. It's just me acting. It's not real and has no basis in actual reality. There are secret societies of people in your neighborhood that might even be in your own family that you would never know about. And you can be born into a family, and these families are extremely common, but if you have a powerful soul, you likely were born into a family whose job it was to make sure that you eat nothing but processed food so they can connect you to the internet and so you can be remote controlled. And actually, if you sleepwalk, what do most people do when they sleepwalk? They go to the fridge, don't they? I'm sleepwalking, I have a sleepwalking disorder. I'm just doing it in my sleep, I just happen to be eating processed food in my sleep. There's nothing suspicious about that at all. But there are families who get told, because they have like a hierarchy, they have like higher ups, and you would never know about this, by the way, because they're such good liars. Even if your lie detector is amazing, like they're still going to get around it. They're really good. They're really good at playing dumb, and they're really good at acting like they're normal. But they go to secret meetings and stuff, and they get told by their higher ups, and you're never supposed to find out. You're never ever supposed to find out about this. They basically had it on good authority that you would never find out. And that's why they were happy to do it. So basically, they get tasked with feeding you all this stuff to keep you connected to their system, because there's like a hierarchy of people, and some of them live underground and stuff. It's really crazy. And there's like a hierarchy of people, and they don't like each other. They're like evil. So they're like, the evil has like a system. So at the very, very, very top, you have like aliens from a different dimension, and then below that you have reptilians, and then below that you have like greys, and then they're around, to be honest, the reptilians, the greys, I don't know where they stand on the pecking order. I know at the top of it, this is going to sound weird, but they're interdimensional clowns. They're, you know, like the DMT jesters, is them. Interdimensional clowns are trying to connect everyone to the internet to take over reality. That it is what it is. And at the very top, there's those. And then to communicate with the 3D, there are people who take large amounts of psychedelics and then go into the clown land, which is like DMT land, and then communicate with them. And then they give the plans for the technology and show them how to make the technology. And their goal is to turn everything into a computer, because they need the computer they come through the computer. But at the lower levels, it manifests as people having children and then being told by their higher ups in their weird meetings and their covens that they go to make sure that you keep eating that food. Because if you stop eating that food and start cleaning your body, then you can be sovereign. If you have a bunch of technology in your body, then you are essentially a piece of software or a piece of hardware, and you're owned by, that's the way they see it, you're patented. They have patents on this technology. If you fill your body with it, you are patented. That's how this is. And so to be sovereign in this world, because there is, in the universe and of creation, there is like Terence McKenna used to say this, he says there is a sort of fair play. There's a sort of fair play. There's like, even though there's like evil, there is like if you zoom out further than the evil, there's like fundamental laws that govern reality, and there is like a fair play. There's always a way to get out of it. And so if you have yourself in that situation, this is most people, by the way, if you haven't actively taken steps to remove that from your body, you have it in there. You do. And if you remove it, you'll become sovereign, because your body is the temple of God. And if you fill it with all that kind of stuff, then basically everything that the evil does is a poor imitation of what God does. So look at the state of that. Look at that. Look at the state of that. That is the ether, or the network that God already created, which you can't see because it's so beautiful, But that is a poor imitation of it. And that's the network that this runs on. So the entire world at the moment is running, not the entire world, 99% of all the electricity in the world is running on that. It's like a poor imitation. It needs like coal power plants and like all the like nuclear power and all this stuff that destroys the environment. Whereas the ether, which is the network that's always there, was created by God and it's perfect. But to connect yourself to the ether, you need to get that other stuff out of your body. Because if you put oil in your body, you're painting the inside of your body. And I've showed before that I don't know if there's there's one there. Ooh. Look, you can see it on the other side of that tree. So those old world buildings, they're connected to the ether, but they paint them these days because that blocks them from being used for their original purpose. And so if you put oil in your body, it paints the inside of you and blocks you from the connection to the ether, and then you'll be reliant on this. And if you're reliant on that, you're at the mercy of interdimensional clown demons who want to take over everything. I laugh when I say it, but it is what it is. And like, they get you to think that life is so mundane that could never be real. Like, oh, you're up paying taxes and just driving your car to work and having your dinner. There's no way you're ever going to consider. That's how deep the illusion is. You're never going to consider that if you're like locked into the Matrix. Here's the Matrix. You've seen in the Matrix where Neo, he's in a pod and he's got like a wire in the back of his head and he's in like that amniotic fluid or whatever it is, and everyone's just in pods. That is actually what they want. But it's going to look differently to that they're not going to, because God is in control. By the way, this video isn't supposed to be scary. Like, there is a solution and we do have a way out, and God is in control, and I don't even doubt that. So don't worry about that. Like, the point is to get awareness out so you can do something about it. What you need to do is clean your body, because otherwise you're being remote controlled in ways that you don't realize. Even if I just said that, I'm sure, like, do you know what I mean? It's everyone. We've all got this issue. And this stuff, it's hard to clean, by the way. It's like it's like removing a tattoo. It like screws itself into your nervous system. It's really fucking evil. It's like when I think about that and what they're doing, I'm like, how could it, that's horrendous, isn't it? Like, what's worse than that? And ultimately they want everything, everything to be all remote controlled by them, so they can just come through anybody they want, because they come through the technology. They can't come into this dimension. That's why they created the Large Hadron Collider. They're bringing things through. They have to come through technology. So when people say like, oh, you're using a phone right now to make this message, yeah, I am, but the phone isn't in my body. I'm happy to use this phone. Love using this phone. Do you know what I mean? Not the problem at all. Don't worry about the phone. Like, use it as little as possible. I use it to bring messages to people. So, but just don't eat the phone. Do you know what I'm saying? When I say don't eat the phone, that's what I mean. But there's people whose job it is families whose job it is to make sure that you keep eating that food. It really is like that. So that's why they try and feed you all the time. Every time you go there, oh, are you hungry? Do you want a bag of crisps? Do you want a biscuit? Do you want a cookie? A bit of cake? That's what it is. They're like, oh, and then they don't eat it. You see them, they're not even eating it. They're like, oh, do you want all this food? And they're eating like vegetables. Like, they don't even eat it themselves. This is because they know. Like, this is what I'm saying. But they're so good at lying, and they're so good at pretending like they're just oblivious. They're not. They know exactly what they're doing. Like, that's how crazy it is. That's how crazy this reality is. Like, I haven't even said, I've got more stuff to say, but I haven't even said how crazy, even crazier. I've got things that I'm dealing with right now, because because of my normal people problems, because I'm just a normal person in normal land. It's just another normal day. But I've got things that I'm dealing with right now that I don't even know how to say, so I won't. I will later. But basically, if you want to be sovereign, you have to get that stuff out of your body. It's a remote control technology, and you've been fed it since you were a baby. And so, clean your body. That's why I say that all the time. It's very important.